This presentation is called Understanding Puberty, Cognitive, Physical, and Social Development. In this PowerPoint, we'll cover the science behind what's happening within the body at a hormonal level at the time of puberty, why adolescent mind is so unique, why sleep and diet are important. We'll cover Erikson's psychosocial stage of identity versus role confusion, Piaget's theory of cognitive development, as well as general health and well-being during adolescence. It's exciting to introduce a topic that we haven't begun to read about yet in our text. Chapter 14 covers the stages of growing older and begins with puberty. Puberty is a challenging time for both parents and adolescents. Children are suddenly becoming teenagers and dealing with voice cracks and growth spurts and emotions that make absolutely no sense. There's a science behind why that happens, and it begins with a biochemical signal in the brain. So what's happening during puberty begins with hormone production. This is regulated deep within the brain, where biochemical signals from the hypothalamus signal another brain structure, the pituitary. The pituitary produces hormones that stimulate the adrenal glands, and those are located above the kidneys at either side of the lower back. The adrenal glands produce more hormones. Many hormones that regulate puberty follow this route. This is known as the HPA, hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis. So in the adolescent brain, the prefrontal cortex matures steadily. It advances gradually as time goes on. This means long-term planning, postponing gratification, and thinking flexibly are better in adults than in young adolescents. Puberty hormones target the amygdala directly. Therefore, instinctual and emotional areas of the adolescent brain develop ahead of reflective, analytical areas. Puberty means emotional rushes, unchecked by caution, and dangerous immediate impulses are taken over long-term planning and reflection. It's not that the prefrontal cortex shuts down. It continues to develop, but emotional hotspots of the brain zoom ahead. I included an interesting image from our textbook here to show the reducing amount of gray matter as the brain ages. Our textbook says that these brain scans are part of a study that repeatedly compared the amount of gray matter from childhood through adolescence. Gray matter refers to the cell bodies of neurons, which are less prominent with age. Gray matter is reduced as white matter increases. As the authors of one study included in this chart explained, teenagers may look like an adult, but cognitively they're not there yet. Biorhythms are on a 24-hour cycle called circadian rhythm, and puberty interacts with the body's biorhythms. For most people, daylight awakens the brain, but at puberty, night may be more energizing. This makes teens wide awake and hungry in the middle of the night and half asleep with no appetite or energy all morning. Teenagers become night owls more than early birds. Many schools are fighting to delay start times until after 8 a.m. to lower the risk of sleep deprivation in teenagers and create a productive learning environment. One study compared graduation rates and absent students in 29 high schools across 7 states before and after they started school later than 8:30 a.m. Graduation rates increased from 79 to 88%, and average daily attendance rose from 90 to 94%. Many high schools, however, remain stuck in schedules set before the hazards of sleep deprivation were known. Although the science is there, the will to change is not. In August 2014, the American Academy of Pediatrics concluded that high schools should not begin until 8:30 or 9 a.m. because adolescent sleep deprivation causes a cascade of intellectual, behavioral, and health problems. The doctors noted that 43% of high schools in the United States start before 8 a.m. Precocious or delayed puberty is the start of puberty before the age of 8 to 14. Some scientists speculate that it may be caused from the hormones that are in our food supply. They see that cattle are fed steroids to increase bulk and milk production, and hundreds of chemicals and hormones are used to produce most of the food that our children consume. All of these substances might affect appetite, body fat, sex hormones, with effects at puberty. Some fatty foods, especially those from animal sources, may contain hormone-like substances or endocrine disruptors that can affect the body's hormone balance. These substances could potentially influence the timing of puberty. Puberty plays a crucial role in the identity versus role confusion stage of Erikson's psychosocial theory. This is between the ages of 12 to 18. At this stage, adolescents are experiencing growth spurts, mood swings, and sexual development. Our text says adolescents ask themselves, who am I at this stage? They establish sexual, political, religious, and vocational identities, or they're very confused about their roles. Adolescents are exploring their sense of self, their values, interests, and goals at this time. There is a development of self-esteem and body image as their self-awareness increases. It can either strengthen their sense of identity, or it can challenge it, and it can bring additional self-consciousness. Social comparison plays a big role in identity formation. Peer influence can shape an adolescent's identity as it brings with it a sense of belonging. Piaget's theory of cognitive development. So this is the formal operational period of development at ages 12 through adulthood. It increases the ability to think abstractly and hypothetically. Ages 7 to 11 is considered the operational stage, so children think in concrete terms. During puberty, adolescents consider hypotheticals, they think outside the box, and they even have philosophical thinking. They have an increased self-awareness, increased problem-solving and critical thinking skills. Ethics, politics, and social and moral issues become fascinating as adolescents and adults use abstract and theoretical reasoning. Health and well-being during puberty. 50% of adult body weight is gained during adolescence. Because adolescence is a long period of time that involves significant growth and development, it's essential to provide the body with optimal nutrition by choosing nourishing foods and consuming enough calories on a daily basis. If teenagers don't take in adequate calories and nutrients, they can experience health complications like stunted growth, delayed puberty, or menstrual irregularities. An inadequate diet can negatively affect mood, energy levels, and athletic and academic performance. Dietary habits established during adolescence can persist into adulthood, which can either positively or negatively affect health and disease risk. To conclude, we covered quite a few topics here in this presentation. We covered the process of hormone production during puberty, the unique structure of the adolescent brain, circadian rhythm and why sleep is paramount to health, how food hormones may impact precocious puberty, puberty as it relates to Erikson's psychosocial stages of development, puberty as it relates to Piaget's theory of cognitive development, and the general health and well-being during puberty.